You are listening to the Daily Treasure podcast produced by Mark Inc. Ministries. I'm Sharon Betters, and I'm so grateful that you have joined us for this series that we're calling The Valley of Tears. And our starting point was Psalm 84, and right now we're kind of taking a little side trail as we talk about the power of the tongue, as we talk about the destruction that the sons of Korah caused, and as we look at their downward spiral and recognize that we are not exempt from giving in to such temptation. So today's devotional is called The Tongue is a Fire, and today's treasure is from James chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. So also, the tongue is a small member, yet it boasts of great things. How great a forest is set ablaze by such a small fire. And the tongue is a fire, a world of unrighteousness. The tongue is set among our members, staining the whole body, setting on fire the entire course of life, and set on fire by hell. Memories of believing gossip and spreading it without thought for the grief I was causing humble me before the grace of God. How grateful I am He forgives, but how sad I am for the pain I caused, using a little bit of truth to convince the hearer of my reliability, but with the goal to hurt others with thoughtless words. Like Korah, my heart turned from God's grace to the lust of my own wickedness. James' words remind me my tongue reveals my heart, and without a heart change, I have no hope of controlling it, as we read in James chapter 3, verses 1 through 5. Not many of you should become teachers, my brothers, for you know that we who teach will be judged with greater strictness. For we all stumble in many ways, and if anyone does not stumble in what he says, well, he is a perfect man, able also to bridle his whole body. If we put bits into the mouths of horses so that they obey us, we guide their whole bodies as well. Look at the ships also. Though they are so large and are driven by strong winds, they are guided by a very small rudder wherever the will of the pilot directs. So also, the tongue is a small member, yet it boasts of great things. What could happen if we humbly accept our inability to control our tongues unless the Lord transforms our hearts? What if we acknowledge we struggle to respond in a godly way to gossip, and we are eager to fuel the fires of damaging words? Could we intentionally and prayerfully plan how to respond when tempted by gossip? Here is a practical strategy to intentionally embrace before you are tempted to help destroy another person with evil words. Note how taking each step could have dismantled the destruction caused by Korah and his malcontents. Better yet, think through your own response to gossip and discontent and how these steps can cultivate community and peace rather than division and hostility. Number 1, instead of stirring up chaos with gossip, ask God for wisdom on how to proceed in response to your feelings of discontent. Number 2, instead of prideful allegations and trying to place blame for your discontent on someone else, humbly examine your discontent and willingness to identify your own sin and repent. Number 3, instead of spreading gossip and gathering others who agree with you, meet with the offending party and express your perspective with the goal of giving the person the opportunity to explain their behavior, as we read in Matthew 18. I remember well the horror of listening to people publicly accuse my husband of wrongdoing in congregational meetings without privately approaching him with their concerns. Their rage toward him was unwarranted, yet months of gossip convinced them lies were the truth. Korah and his cohorts blindsided Moses and Aaron publicly. Perhaps they knew a private meeting would not result in their wishes. Yet, handling their conflict privately could have protected the health of the covenant family and the Korahites from the consequences of their sin. Number 4, make the relationship the priority, not the issue at hand. When the relationship is more important than being right, we will choose words designed to result in peace rather than hurt, as we read in Proverbs 12:18. There is one who speaks rashly like the thrust of a sword, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. and Philippians 2:4. Do not merely look out for your own personal interest, but also for the interest of others. Number 5, listen, listen, listen. James 1:19 through 20 tells us, "This you know, my beloved brethren, but everyone must be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. For the anger of man does not achieve the righteousness of God." And lastly, number 6, if you are the one approached by someone disturbed by your behavior, remember Proverbs 17:6, "Faithful are the wounds of a friend, profuse are the kisses of an enemy." Ask the Lord to help you discern any seeds of truth in the perceived offense and to give you the humility to repent and work toward reconciliation. As I consider the damage caused by Korah and his friends, I shudder to think of church conflicts fed and inflamed by gossip and wrong information. I pray that before we involve others in gossip, we will remember, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God," Matthew 5:9, and "When a man's ways are pleasing to the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him," Proverbs 16:7. And, oh Father, that is our prayer, that even those who are in conflict with us will be drawn to you by the love that we display for you and for them. Friends, thanks so much for joining us for the Daily Treasure podcast. You know, every day we send out this podcast, every single day of the year. Every single day of the year, we also send out an email with the devotional. And we do it because we want to help one another walk by faith by turning our hearts toward Jesus through His Word. But you know, even though it's free to those who access it, it isn't free. There are production costs. And we would appreciate so much if you would help us underwrite those costs. For every gift that you give, we are going to donate a copy of Treasures in Darkness to a local funeral home. And not only will they receive a book, but they're going to receive a beautiful grief care package that they can give to those who are deeply grieving, especially over the loss of a child. So your gift is not only underwriting the Daily Treasure devotional, but it is also helping a brokenhearted parent lean into the love of Jesus. You can safely give by going to markinc.org. That's markinc.org. I am so grateful for each of you who have supported us already, and I pray that many more of you will recognize the opportunity to help others walk by faith by giving to the support of the Daily Treasure podcast and devotional. Thanks so much for joining us, and I look forward to being with you tomorrow.